Do you believe that relationship have roles?
Have what?
Roles.
Roles?
Not based on gender.
Yes.
Okay, I had to make sure we establish that. Some men are better chefs. Some women are better chefs. Some women are better doing laundry.
But it's the effort that matters.
Elaborate on effort.
If
What
I
would
see
you?
Should I just tell him? I was pregnant. I was heavy. I was tired. I needed some help.
If I was putting the effort in to make you feel like you are a man, then you should be able to do the same for me.
And what was that effort?
Cooking, cleaning, back massage, feet rub. You should be doing the same thing for me. I shouldn't the rest of the relationship should be 50-50. It shouldn't be 80-20.
Who spent more time at the house, you or the person?
Me.
So who the hell making it dirty?
Okay. Oh, no.
Not you.
But like I said, if I'm cooking,
I gotta get myself
cleaning.
Yeah. But if I'm never there, you're really cleaning up after yourself.
Wow, but this
I
is
know that,
teamwork.
but-
We can help each other.
No, but I'm just saying we willing to help, but it's like
I'm not
really
gonna
is you.
cook a meal.
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. Oh, I'm so excited today. I got my little sister over here. I brought her on today, guys, and I want y'all to hear this because we always do conversations from an older person's perspective. I want to know from a younger person's perspective. First, let me let you introduce yourself. What's your name?
Shania.
Shania is in the building, guys. Give her a bomb. We got some fun today. Shania, I think, is a very intelligent young woman, and I want her to voice her opinion about men. And the reason why we did this because a few weeks back, it was men talking about women. So I thought it would be fair if women can talk about men. So Shania, why do you think men are so mad?
I believe that we can't really speak on a perspective about men on why they're frustrated, but relationship-wise, it could be sexually or they're just looking for a mom, kind of, in a way, or someone who could treat them like a kid or, yeah.
But what you just said, I agree with. I do believe that a lot of men nowadays are definitely looking for mother figures. And it is kind of weird because it's so transparent now, opposed to like back in the days where more men were like more discreet. I think men are like lost their, what is the term? The word is called pride. They have like no pride. They just willing to just accept the minimal and then complain about accepting the minimum. So based on you being a young woman and being outside and, you know, meeting people, what do you hear a lot of young women say about the men today?
Immature or not having stability in their life or looking for a wife out of a girlfriend, even though they are not able to bring certain things to the table.
So they want you to behave like a wife, but they act like a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a valid statement. I actually like that a lot. And it's funny because I could see that being very transparent today where they expect you to be more of a wife figure opposed to just have a girl role, or title rather, but act like a wife. Do you see that a lot?
Yeah, but I feel like majority of people are just never satisfied, to be honest.
Why do you think that is?
Because as humans, we're not fully always satisfied. Or we can't fully bring satisfaction, is that a word? To people, period. So
I agree.
Yeah.
So do you think as a woman, what do you think is the most vital requirements of a man to make her feel like this is a healthy relationship to commit herself to?
Catering to her.
Catering?
Little things, either like helping around or
Like little gestures? Dates?
cleaning, just doing little bare minimum stuff that shouldn't be a problem.
And what do you think a woman could do to make her man feel like he should commit himself to that too?
Repeat it?
What do you think a woman could do? Like you see how the man, you just told me what a man could do. What do you think a woman can do also to make a man feel like, yo, I should commit here?
bare minimum cooking, cleaning, catering, make him feel good about himself.
You know what I like though, what you just said? She said bare minimum, meaning that should be a standard.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you actually said that, opposed to making it like such a big thing. I think a man should hype up his woman. I think a woman should hype up her man. I think we should be each other's biggest cheerleaders, biggest supporters, and also being the person that understands that the world may be rough, but my job is to definitely relinquish some of that energy when you come in the house, as far as how was your day, you know, being able to speak to each other. So I'm asking you now, all the young women I talk to nowadays, and the reason why I like this episode today is because I'm learning from a younger's perspective. Would you say that a lot of the younger guys are not ready to be in relationships?
Yeah.
Why do you say such? Outside of immaturity.
Commitment.
Elaborate on that.
A lot of guys or younger guys don't like commitment, or they don't know how to be loyal to their person. So that creates a lot of hostility in the relationship.
I agree. I definitely believe, in my heyday, I was definitely like that. I think it's an insecurity thing. And I think another point is a lot of men aren't allowed to be vulnerable. And a lot of them be having their own war going on in themselves. And I think they look for things that momentarily satisfy them, opposed to things that should be long-term satisfiable as far as fixing yourself and work on yourself. So I think they look for things that are temporary satisfactions, opposed to, you know what, because doing the work, there's something called mirror work. Mirror work is when you look in the mirror and you do the work where nobody can see you, but you see yourself. Mm-hmm. And you can have this conversation with yourself. A lot of people are very intimidated with doing the mirror work because it's easier to put on a facade when I go into the world and look like I have it all together, opposed to, you know, really seeing myself for who I truly am. Do you think a lot of people are insecure showing their true identity to the world?
Yeah, that's why people are very insecure. But guys can be vulnerable, but I feel like they choose not to because they have this ideal of men are supposed to be hardcore or can't show emotions. But when they do, they're either, sometimes it's too much where
Yes.
they can't control it.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Have you ever learned something about a man and in anger use it against them with words?
I mean, I have, yeah.
That's why most men are scared to do it.
Yeah.
But it's not malicious. I know it's not intentful. But again, a lot of the times I genuinely believe that the women at that moment, they want the man to feel how she feels. So all she cares about at that moment is, I want you to feel like me. I'm hurting, so I want you to hurt. And it's the only way I know I can hurt you. Mm-hmm. So I understand why, but I think we got to get past the point of an eye for an eye and learn that being bigger than a person is, I'm not going to stoop to your level even though I'm upset. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah.
And why would you agree?
I mean, I've done it, so sometimes I do feel like I should get back, kind of, or get back on a person.
Yeah.
To make him feel how I felt in that moment. But I know it's wrong, but
I do respect your honesty.
that is the only way.
I do respect your honesty. It's not the only way. Let's establish that. I understand it's been normalized as a way. But again, men and women shouldn't weaponize personable things we learn about each other to hurt each other because we're hurting. When we can control our emotions, it makes us the bigger person. Like, for instance, you have a brother. If you and your brother get into an argument, the person that could walk away, it's not about who can win or lose. It just shows a level of maturity more, opposed to, because once you hit somebody, y'all both guilty. You can't say, you know what, I did this because of. I think we got to get out of that phase. That's what, like, childish. When you say, I did this because of, that's an excuse. I think we got to learn how to control ourselves even in anger. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So has a man ever weaponized things you told him to you in anger?
Yeah.
And elaborate on like something, you gotta give me a scenario, but how did it make you feel?
Like I should have never vented my problems to him.
And this is what I feel like culturally we've been taught. It's like a mentality where you sit down and listen to, everyone does it now. You know, when I was growing up, it was more considerably, And I say considerably. I know there were men that did it, so guys, bear with me. But I do know it was considerably more of a feminine thing. What's sad now is more men have indulged into this mentality. Today we were having a conversation and a lady asked me, why do you think the men are just not manning? Are they just like really soft? So I want to ask you, what do you think? Why is that, Viv? Why do you think that?
Well, who were they raised by? A lot of times, men and women are grown in single parent homes. Usually the father's missing. So, that takes away from the young boy growing up to being a mature man. If the father, what example did they have? An uncle could raise them, or, a cousin could raise them, a grandfather. But what example did they have to know how to treat a woman, to know how to be mature, to know how to get out there and work, to know how to not quit, to find solutions for a problem and not walk away first,
I would you say 100% agree with. The one thing I always say to myself is like, every human needs a reference, right? And what a reference does is it gives you a sense of behavior. Like I've learned from this, reading this book. But I do believe that a lot of times men, me personally, I had a lot of anger growing up because I didn't have great examples. And a lot of times it frustrated me because I was being told how to be, but not shown by no examples around me. So a lot of times I was like, damn, like you want me to be something I don't even know. That's like asking somebody who grew up in an English speaking household to speak Spanish. It's like, I only know how to speak Spanish because I grew up in a house that speaks Spanish. So it's like, I think a lot of men don't know how. And I don't want to give them an excuse, but we are learning now that 70% of households that are single parents tend to have the worst statistics on earth as far as parenting. And I think that's what we've been conditioned to believe that is normal. Would you agree with that? Okay.
Yeah, I'd say I agree 100%. Also, I would like to add to what Viv was saying, like there's no community, so it's hard for, a young boy to find a healthy community where he has role models in which, they could show him the way, like, yo, you don't have to do this, but we could show you, like, again, how to handle things in a much positive way instead.
You know what's scary though? Because if you look at it, I'm gonna let you say something right to this. There are definitely two things. If you look at when you're younger, the young girls like the young men that are crash outs, right? They like it because it's a sense of like toughness. So a lot of the boys overly compensate to act like they're tougher than they actually are because of that aspect. They get more attention from the women when they act tough and basically have no self-control. More girls like the bad guy when they're younger. Would you agree? Not saying you.
Yeah,
But why do you think that is?
just for a look, or
Elaborate on that.
they like how it looks in their head and not how it actually portrays on the outside.
I like that statement. And I think a lot of the times that's where we culturally are not accountable for our actions and decisions. I do believe that we, as older people, should definitely sit with younger people and be more considerate and more compassionate with trying to give them more understanding, because we were young, stubborn before too. There's a saying that when you're a boy, it's called young, dumb, and full of you know what. That's what most guys are. They don't know, because in a moment, especially like if you weren't taught how to work out a relationship, you believe getting into another relationship is actually working on a relationship. That's what a lot of people think nowadays. I thought like that, where it's like, you know what, I could find another one, and I could find another one. But then I started realizing that overall, the problem wasn't the relationships, the problem was me. And I would continue this behavior no matter what relationship I was in, because I couldn't do the mirror work and work on myself and say like, yo, Q, you a little aggressive. Q, you have this issue. Q, you have that issue. Do you believe that most people are comfortable with being vulnerable with their flaws or their mishaps or their problems?
No, not really. And no matter how hard you can tell somebody about themselves, they'll still believe that they are not the problem.
That's scary when you sit down and hear that, though, because what she's saying, I agree. I think a lot of humans do not like to be accountable for their decisions, men and women. And it's scary because when I grew up, right, and just being fair, more men were more accountable with their actions. But with the whole, would you say that it has increased single mothers? You would say it increased? That more single mothers now than ever?
Yes.
So if that's the case, do you believe that these boys are less accountable because of the circumstances of how they're being raised also?
Absolutely, because the moms, they try to compensate for the missing father, and so sometimes we are not helping.
100%, we avocado.
Yeah.
We avocado.
We're not,
You know,
yeah.
and it's weird because like when I talk from both spectrums, I'm fair because like I grew up with a single mother, but I also been a single father for years. So I know both sides of the coin. I know what it is to be a single parent, but I also know what it is to come from a single parent. So I understand both aspects. And the one thing I will say is at times I did overcompensate for the fact that I felt bad that my son's mother wasn't there. So I would say, honestly, I did it also. And I'm a masculine energy, but in the same breath, you still love that child so much that you feel bad. But I do believe that we have to become more accountable to the decisions that we're making when we're raising our children, because we are creating the next generation of people, right? So let me ask you this next question. Being that we talk about men being angry, what is something else do you believe or why you believe that men are so angry?
I don't know.
What you got, Viv?
Bottled up emotions, things they can't talk about. You know,
go
I
more
think
down.
Shania touched on it a bit.
Yes, she did.
Yeah,
Keep
like,
going.
you know, you keep your emotions in. If you're happy, if you're sad, if you're frustrated, you can't talk about it because you talk about it, you judge. You know, you're a man, suck it up, don't talk about it. And
You don't-
so
you don't
it all
think-
starts from, like you said, in the home. If your mom's not loving you correctly, if your dad is missing, a lot of anger is built up, bullying and all different, a lot of different, you know.
One of my young guys the other day, we were in the shop, and he asked me the other day, he said, Q, what is the worst thing you think you experienced growing up with a single mother? I said, one of the worst things I think I experienced is actually being more feminine because of the fact that I didn't know how to be masculine. I said, but the one thing I will say is I said, what is the worst thing you experienced? You know what he said to me? He said, hearing my mother all the time say that she don't need a man made me believe he didn't need a woman. He said it taught him how to create a broken situation. And I said, guilty as charged. And I said, it's sad because it's reality. I do believe there are a lot of men out there now who are not accountable. And I think a man is he's supposed to be, let me say, supposed to be the leader. Would you say that a lot of men nowadays, they have issues with being great leaders?
Yeah.
Yeah? Why you think so?
Probably because they've never seen their father lead or people in their life lead, or they were probably told, or just by men being spoiled as well as a kid, so they automatically think they deserve something.
100%. So let me ask you, if you were telling a young woman, like, yo, we're dating, what were some of the things that you would say are red flags that that person should definitely stay or steer away from? If you're talking to like a young friend that you love or care for, what would you tell her?
Someone who stay away from people who are emotionally unstable, that don't know
Emotionally
how
unstable.
to vent their emotions
Yes.
or don't know how to lead, period, or just provide for you.
And what does leadership look like to you?
Just like someone leads and I follow, like I just follow after them, you know?
So they basically speak without the action.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What you got, Chris?
I was gonna add too, like stay away from men who make everything about themselves and think the world revolves around them.
Go keep going in depth a little bit more.
Meaning, for example, it could be a girlfriend's birthday. His girlfriend's birthday, they go out and he's had a rough day from work, and instead of celebrating, he's just venting and making it about him, saying, oh, I gotta spend this much and I gotta do this, I'm tired, blah, blah, blah. Then what are you in a relationship for?
It shouldn't be at all. 100% facts. 100% facts. But you know, nowadays I do believe that the men, I'm very disappointed with a lot of the men that we have in the world today. As a strong man myself, and I think I'm a great leader, and one thing I am is very understanding and I'm fair. The one thing I realize is I've been misled to believe what leadership is. to the point now I genuinely know what leadership is. I thought leadership was being aggressive and the willingness to fight, but not realizing that the greatest leader is the leader that actually can control their emotions. They can basically assess the situation. And I would tell any young girl, any man, any woman, period, if they date somebody that can assess the situation, they have to be good at it. Like sitting there like, you know what? This is not the best decision. Those people to me are the best leaders. And it took me years to learn how to actually do that because I never saw it. I never saw it. I'm being honest with you. It's easier for a woman to say that she's a woman when you have a multitude of women around her teaching her how to be a woman. But it's harder for a man to be around a multitude of women and expect to be a man. In most cases, that man will be more feminine. You know, and it's just what it is. Someone said men are raised by narcissistic mothers and they don't know how to be men and just victims. I'm gonna be honest with you, and in fairness, Anisha, I agree with you. Narcissism is very entitled, and you're seeing it now where the men don't even care to be men anymore. And it's disgusting where you try your best. Viv, I'm gonna give you that duty to, if you see any good comments, you can read them. Right, but go, Chris.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but also I want to add too is just the fact of the mother saying, "Oh, I don't need a man," but you have a whole son, so that means your son, like, what's that doing to his self-esteem? What's that doing to his confidence?
I think that's something that's not referenced enough, where we talk about how we should lift each other up opposed to bringing each other just down. Because a lot of times I think that culturally, some people always look at it like, I did good and I'm okay. What your parents went through and you went through is two different things. I think one of the reasons what I don't like about people that are very narcissistic, they lack empathy. And what empathy means, so for instance, let's say hypothetically, you grew up in a worse struggle than her. But you look at it like, well, you didn't grow up in my struggle, but her struggle's a lot for her. Your struggle's a lot for you. The comparison alone devalues her struggle, or at least what she experienced in her mind. And that's what I think our culture does a lot, where we don't look at it from a total lens. Where it's like, damn, you are judging me based on my story, but I think my story was hard as hell. But then you say, well, my story trumps your story. All you did was minimize that person and made that person feel like they're not important. And I do believe that we do that a lot. And it's like, I call it the struggle comparison. And a lot of people do that.
I also add the victim Olympics.
And it is the victim Olympics. But again, it's just what it is. When you sit down and talk to a lot of these people, they're really heavy on the trauma. And they, you know. So let me ask you, would you date a guy, or if you were entertaining a guy, would you be comfortable entertaining a guy that didn't have a father?
I would say yes and no.
Elaborate on why.
A lot of women, I can't say a woman can raise a man, but like a lot of men who only have their mother in their lives, they know how to treat a woman.
Yeah. So you get certain aspects from just having a mother around.
Yeah.
But then you get certain bad qualities for not having a man around. So you can see that. I see it in both cases also. What about you, Viv? Do you think that, you would ask you?
Would I date a man
that didn't have a father in his life?
Yeah, I would.
Elaborate on why and why
I've
not.
had concerns about dating men that hate their mother.
I didn't think about that one.
Yeah, because they don't necessarily treat you right. And it all depends on what the trauma is. Some have to stay away from their mothers if their mothers are,
Toxic?
Yeah. So that's different. But if she didn't have control over her situation at the time, maybe on drugs or strung out or something like that, but now she has changed her life. We all have to learn eventually how to forgive. You're not going to forget, but you have to forgive. God gives us grace, so we have to give other people grace.
You know something weird? I want y'all both to hear this. A lot of times, you ever notice that women are more comfortable with having male friends than female friends? You ever notice that? More women are comfortable having male friends than they are comfortable having female friends. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So my question is, if a woman can see that a lot of women choose or prefer to have male friends, why a lot of women can't acknowledge that there must be a lot of women are very toxic, but they just don't want to call it out. If men are so bad, why are so many women willing to be their friends? There are a lot of women that don't like female friends because women are very toxic. And I think we don't call out a lot of the behaviors that they have. And if as a man, me saying it sounds like I'm a male chauvinistic pig. But in reality, I'm just only observing the lens of what I've seen, right? For instance, one of the number one abuses a man can do to you is economic abuse or physical abuse, right? Mm-hmm. But one of the number one abuses that a woman can do is verbally abuse men. But a lot of women don't see that as an abuse. They don't see it. Verbal abuse actually pays on your mental to the point where it actually hurts your confidence. It actually makes you feel inferior to life. It might not even make you move. You don't want to do nothing. But in reality, the human nature by men is we go where we're celebrated, we don't go where we're tolerated. A lot of men will look for a woman that celebrates them when they don't feel like they're being celebrated. So if a woman isn't getting finances, right? If a woman isn't getting, or she's getting hit, we'll look at it like, I understand why she cheats, right? But when a man is being verbally abused, which leads to mental abuse, the women don't see it like, I can understand why the man steps out. I think that's very unfair. It makes sense to you guys? Am I bugging? Tell me how you feel, honestly.
I agree, but not all the way.
So I'm listening.
I mean, verbal abuse goes deeper, like in a relationship. If a guy is not doing what he's supposed to do in a relationship, it's gonna obviously make people frustrated. But it all, I don't know how to explain it.
You know, when you look at abuse, right?
Yeah.
Let's establish something. Abuse is abuse.
Mm-hmm.
No matter, there's no levels of abuse, right? Abuse is abuse. Mental, physical, emotional, financial, right? Emotional, all of these abuses, abuse is abuse across the board. I think what we do is we pick and choose what fits us, and then we say, you know what, that's different. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird because since we're kids, we're taught as young adults that a man don't fight a woman, but all I do is see nowadays men fighting women. When they say fight, we're talking about across the board. You can say what you feel about a woman, but you don't have to fight, right? Would you say more men nowadays are more overly aggressive?
Yeah.
What about the women?
Yeah.
Elaborate on what you think about the two of them. Or an example.
Everything is just frustration, but it's just all miscommunication. So it's like when I'm in a relationship and he's overly passionate or overly aggressive, and people just have two different beliefs on certain things based off how they were taught.
You know what? It's what you're saying is 100% fact. And what's crazy the most to me is when you're dealing with a man or a woman and they just can't see themselves.
Yeah.
They can see everything about you. You know the hardest thing is to take constructive criticism from a person that's just constructive, but they don't like criticism themselves. It's so hard to listen to a person that tell me about myself when they're not comfortable to listen to me tell them about themselves. Like if something bothers me, I come to you and you go left, I'm not gonna be receptive of you telling me anything about myself.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's what we're doing right now. Go ahead, Viv.
Someone said it's how you say it. I'm a firm believer in that. It's how you say it. You know, if it comes out too aggressively, the person's automatically gonna put up guards.
I'm being fair from my experience. And guys, remember I said, from my experience, I do believe that anytime, in most cases, you approach a woman about something that bothers you, she goes on a defense. From my experience.
If you say it the most nicest way.
Even if I say it nice. If it's anything like about her, most women aren't receptive. Like the other day, I gave you a scenario. I got into a debate or a conversation with someone, and I told them something they did bothered me. The moment I said it bothered me, conversation went left. And I was like, that's crazy that my feelings are feeling negated. But then my response was, now, when a man like that goes talk to another woman, you upset. But you're minimizing his feelings, and he's feeling like devalued. So now I'm feeling devalued when a person's like, you know what? That person goes on, move on. You're like, because you couldn't see what you were doing also, that was making that person feel uncomfortable. We only see what other people do to make us uncomfortable, but we don't see that we make people uncomfortable also. How you don't think anything you do, what would you say something you think you do wrong in a relationship? Let's see if you be that vulnerable. Let's see. Look,
I say flip my switch quickly.
elaborate on that.
Like, I'll get mad very, very quick. But I only get mad because that my voice isn't being heard first. So once I feel like I'm unheard, I'm going to flip my switch and be mad.
So it's like you know that's called like a temper tantrum?
Yeah, I know, but
It's diabolical though. It's a temper tantrum. I'm not getting my way, so guess what? I'm having a temper
no,
tantrum.
if I'm having like a deep, genuine conversation with someone, I expect to have a conversation back. Not for you to be quiet the whole time. Have a conversation back. Or if I tell you I don't like something and you still do it, my voice is not being heard, so I'm eventually going to be mad.
Valid point. But I do believe that sometimes when people shut down also is because they know the person won't be receptive of the conversation. So it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. So some people are like, you know what? I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to just let her think she want to move on. Because men in most cases, like a real man, they're solution-based. So they're looking for a solution. And most solutions is, what is the exit? Most men are looking for the entrance of a debate or an argument. 9 out of 10 times when real men complain, it's because something is really bothering them. You know, I'm talking about real men. If you got a very sensitive man, that's a different situation. But men don't complain much. That if they do, it should be way more received because they don't complain a lot. Who do you think complain more, men or women?
Woman.
Say it again.
Woman. But nobody's truly satisfied, though.
I'm listening. Yeah, both of y'all.
Go ahead, you go, Shania.
Like, no one is truly satisfied. But yes, we complain more because we expect so much from a man to do.
And that's
As
not
a
fair.
man, you're supposed to provide or little things, help clean around the house. I should not be catering to you.
I'm going to keep it real with y'all. This is me being very fair. If a man chose to complain as much as y'all would look at us like little punks. Men bite our tongues a lot with things that even bother us, to the point that when we complain, we expect it to be received. Because if you're dating someone, he doesn't complain a lot. And the moment I say something is not respected, I'm going to really check out of that relationship. Because I don't complain a lot. When I have a laundry list of things I could have complained about this week, but I chose to just bite my tongue. And was like, you know what, I'm gonna bite my tongue. Because sometimes, in most cases, men, we're very attracted to peace. We like peace. And a lot of times we don't look for problems.
Too much peace is not a great thing either.
I think
Complaining will allow communication.
so. You think
So we could be on the same page.
But
so?
it's not
You
always-
comfortable with a man coming to you telling you how he feel about you?
Yeah,
Cat.
let me know.
I'm cat. I
I
call it
want,
cat.
like, I do. I truly do. I'd rather,
So let's-
I'd rather you
let's-
come tell me something than you just be quiet all the time.
Let's see how this would sound. So Shania, I gotta talk to you about something. I'm like, okay, what is it? That's how you gonna be?
I mean, yeah, I'm going to ask, what do you want to talk about?
Well, let's say it's something that's really, really, really strikes a chord or nerve with you. You still gonna give that same level of energy?
Yeah, it just has to be on what it is exactly.
Something that really, really offends you, makes you feel away.
Okay, if it's offensive, then yeah, I'm going to have a rebuttal to that, but I'm going to listen to what you want to say to me, but
Somebody said she gonna tweet.
I think we gotta be honest. I think most women would. Not just you. I think most women are not really comfortable with hearing about themselves.
Yeah.
And I do believe that this is a defense mechanism that men have, because men, like for instance, if I'm sitting in a room full of men, and this is naturally, you guys are men, y'all agree with this statement? We're in a room full of men, we're debating. And when I try to say my piece, nobody want to hit me. When they say their piece, I ain't trying to hear nothing they got to say either. That's men. But if you saying your piece and I'm listening to you, I'm gonna be way more receptive to make sure because I told you, men are very heavy on respect. So once I feel like you're not respecting my opinion, I'm damn sure not respecting your opinion. I'm gonna give you that same energy that you gave me because of the fact that I don't feel like you want to hear
that's
me.
how I am, though.
That's diabolical. Somebody got to be the mature person in that
No, like
situation.
what you said, like if I'm not being heard or I'm having talking to you and you shut down, I'm gonna shut down too. I'm just gonna give you the same energy that you're giving me.
I do believe that when a person approaches a person, I think it's definitely supposed to be like more of an ear than it is a mouth.
Yeah, I have a question. Why is the first time we say something, it's interpreted as complaining? I'm not complaining. I wanna talk and have this conversation.
I'll tell you what. We'll tell you what.
Conversation is needed.
I'm gonna tell you what.
Yeah, tell me.
Y'all have something called passive aggressive behaviors, where y'all say things so sarcastic, it's insulting.
But why you interpret it as sarcastic when
Because
it's really
here
not
we go.
sarcasm?
Here go passive aggressiveness. It would have been nice if you would have washed the dishes. That's passive aggressive.
Well, that is. Yeah.
But that's how y'all are as women. Women are very passive aggressive. They say little sarcastic things rather than just being direct. Like, yo, could you please wash the dishes?
Reader. You're not a mind
And that's
reader.
what they expect us to be. And a lot of times the man will say something like, yo, all you had to do is just say it direct. But a lot of times y'all are very passive aggressive,
Because we expect you guys to automatically do that.
but we don't understand. We don't read your mind.
But you have
That's
to
unfair.
also understand that men's head are in a
We
thousand
think
places.
different.
Yeah.
Men and women both think
You
different.
gotta literally
So
ask.
you think you could shit where you sleep?
Elaborate on that. I want to make sure I
The dishes
understand.
is full. If I'm cooking for you, you should be washing the dishes. So if you see the sink is full of dishes, it should automatically click your head. Let me get off the game. Let me stop what I'm doing and go clean up my house before I go to sleep.
But communication is what preserves relationships. I think that should just be communicated, because it might be so important to you. Things that might be important to you might not be as important to him, and things that might be important to him might be as important to you. So we just got to communicate it. Like, can you wash the dishes before we go to bed? Done. It's that simple. You see how that changed the whole dynamics?
Absolutely.
I'll give you a quick story. There was a woman, right? She was complaining about her husband. She cooked his favorite dish. She stayed with her in the kitchen for 4.5, 5 hours, right? She said, when my husband get home, I'm going to tell him about himself. He was late. He walked in the house. She said before the husband came through the door, she said the Holy Spirit told her to just bite her tongue and be quiet. It said, be still, be quiet. The husband walks in the door. She goes, so how was your day? But mine, she was upset, right? She was upset because of the fact that he came in the house late. He looked at her. She said, how was your day? He started crying and said, it was the worst day of my life. The worst day of my life. And started crying. She said, what happened? Then he started telling her what he went through. But in her heart, she already made reservation that this was an intention to come home late to dinner that she cooked to hurt her. And I was like, look how communication saved that situation. Imagine if you would have cursed that man out after having that long day he had. But that's what men go through a lot of times, I'm being fair.
Completely. No, I could see him shutting down forever.
Yeah, but that's what happens. And over time, I'm feeling like it's damned if I do, damned if I do. And I can understand why she feel the same way. I think that's where we say communication is. Because men don't read minds, women don't read minds. And that should be a conversation. You should always give your mate the benefit of the doubt first.
But my concern or my suggestion or my thoughts should not be ignored. If I'm coming to you saying XYZ, there should be some type of consideration. That's when the frustration builds up. There's no consideration. You didn't even attempt.
Was he like that in the beginning? More than likely, yes.
As a friendship, no. As a marriage, yes.
So what about dating?
As a friendship, no.
What about dating?
Dating, not that much came up. It's different when you move in with each other. It's way different.
But I do believe there's certain things we see that we ignore.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Being fair.
That's true.
I don't think that there's some people that are just very absent-minded. They're just very absent-minded. Like, I love my son to death. But my son is very absent-minded. My son is the type of person that you got to write a list of things he should do and give it to him. You can argue with him 45 times about the same thing, and his mind is just so absent, he'll do it again. And then you'll start taking it personal, like, yo, this kid just don't respect me. And it's just not that. His mind just don't process logic the way I process. I like to believe that he's highly intelligent, but he just don't process it. So I just realized, like, you know what? I'm gonna just keep a list on his door. Every time he come out, this is what you do. It saves me the headaches, because when I give the list, it's done. When I don't get the list, it's not done. So I said, you know what? I got to figure out a strategy on how to keep this thing moving forward.
But in a relationship, that's ridiculous.
It is, but it ain't, because I think after time it start becoming repetitional. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people grew up different.
Yeah, if it works, it works. That'll save the argument and the frustration.
100%. Because let's say hypothetically you don't like going shopping. He don't like going shopping, but he know you really don't like going shopping. So he'll go shopping just to save you from complaining about going shopping. I think every couple learns what works for them and they do what works for them. And I think that's one thing we have to identify, like, whatever works for you, just guys, work for you guys. I do believe that y'all owe, I'm gonna say this on the camera, Walt Disney owes a lot of women an apology because I think the movies he's created, Snow White and Cinderella, has created a lie about relationships. And then all the people that do movies that are about love, they lied about it. I do believe that a lot of The Notebook, right? A lot of these people think these are real life scenarios, and they're not. You know, that it's not real. You know, I think a lot of men know that his woman is not gonna look like the best looking woman over time. You don't come to bed looking like how I met you in the club that night. We know that. So how you expect me to always be on my best? When you're not always at your best? Men are visual, you know that.
When
We're
you
very
take off
visual.
that lace front and that makeup, look like a total different person.
Yes, but he knows that, right? But look at that though. We comfortable accepting you, like, you know what? We know you ain't gonna always be the best version of yourself. We know when you're gonna come with your bonnet on. We know you're gonna come, some of y'all be putting a green goblin mask on. You know, we know that y'all gonna look crazy when you come to bed. But in the same breath, he knows that. So you gotta understand, like, we accept that you're not gonna always be at your best. So it's true. It's true. We know that. Feel like monsters sometimes. You're like, oh. But we accept that though, right? It's like somebody said, don't forget the Hallmark card. It's true. Hallmark did it too. I do believe that a lot of women believe that dating is like a movie. It's like, oh my God, we fell in love and as we galloped into the sunset.
We just have expectations.
But it's diabolical.
No,
Love
it's not.
anymore. It's about building. We about to build this business together.
Futures and
Give me some of your
not just the
expectations.
now.
What's your expectations?
Like, I like people who can teach me things about stuff that I don't already know.
Are you receptive of it?
Yes, of course. I'm not going to sit there and take in information that I don't know and not take it into consideration. So I'm the type of person to teach someone something that they don't know.
So are you
What they
dating
know.
an intellect?
Shit, I don't know.
That's what you got to ask yourself. If you know that certain things that you are very, very needy of, right? I think when we get better at it as daters is when we start accepting, I'm gonna be the person. Like, for instance, that could be your thing. Your mate might not be an intellect, but you might be the person that can teach the person things. That might be your role. And I don't want it because you have a movie. I want the book has to be the story, and it has to align with what I want. But life don't align with how you want it. I thought I was gonna be a millionaire by 22, and I was broke as hell by 22. Right? I'm just being honest. We thought, but again, life doesn't always play out the way we would like it to.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, one thing about life is it will play out the way it will play out. So I think when we're younger, we tend to believe that. I think every young girl thought they was gonna have the biggest wedding with the biggest ring on their finger, and my man gonna be 6'6", 6'7", right? So that's how you do it, right? 6'7", right? That's how you do it, Viv? You're about 6'6", 6'7". You know, but no, being fair, not you. But most women thought they was gonna be with a rich man. They thought they was gonna have a man that's very, very stable and has all this stuff together. But again, life doesn't always pan out the way we would like it to. You know, so what are you willing to compensate? And I bet you if you sat the man down, he'll tell you a lot of things that I'll tell you a number one thing men compensate with that y'all don't even know. Y'all have no clue. We do it every day. 90%, and I'm gonna say 90, I'm not gonna say all, but a lot of times when you're in a long-term relationship, the little freak that you got when you first got with her, she ain't the little freak no more when y'all move in with each other. And most men will say they're definitely the freak left once they got serious and got married to her or started dating her and moved in with her. They're gonna say everything changed. And my men on my live right now, please answer that. Sexually, the person you subscribe to is not the same person that you dating now. They're gonna say that's a fact. And remember, I'll give you stories like men be able to sleep with you in the car. We hump you in the bushes.
Because we move in with you and see what you are.
But we move in with you and see who you are too.
No, okay, no, like, if a man is sitting there catering to their female, how we cater to a man, of course, everything is going to get back how it was eventually. But if you're not, your feet is up, chilling all day, and I'm cooking and cleaning for you, and you can't do anything for me, of course it's gonna go down.
So you're cooking and cleaning for him. Do you believe that relationship have roles?
Have what?
Roles.
Roles?
Not based on gender.
Yes.
Okay, I had to make sure we establish that. Some men are better chefs. Some women are better chefs. Some women are better doing
But
laundry.
it's the effort that matters.
Elaborate on effort.
If
What
I
would
see
you?
if
Should I just tell him? I was pregnant. I was heavy. I was tired. I needed some help.
If I was putting the effort in to make you feel like you are a man, then you should be able to do the same for me.
And what was that effort?
Cooking, cleaning, back massage, feet rub. You should be doing the same thing for me. I shouldn't the rest of the relationship should be 50-50. It shouldn't be 80-20.
Who spent more time at the house, you or the person?
Me.
So who the hell making it dirty?
Okay. Oh, no.
Not you.
But like I said, if I'm cooking,
I gotta get myself
I'm
that
cleaning.
Yeah. But if I'm never there, you're really cleaning up after yourself.
Wow, but this
I
is
know that,
teamwork.
but-
We can help each other.
No, but I'm just saying we willing to help, but it's like
I'm
really
not
is
gonna
you.
cook a meal for myself. If I'm cooking me a steak dinner, I'm gonna cook me a steak dinner for you and me, and that means you're gonna have to clean.
wash a dish.
I agree. See, that's what we gotta stop saying. I love that. See, somebody said it. A relationship
not
is not
always 50-50,
but a
but
relationship
it should be.
it should never be 50-50.
I
No,
feel
it
like
should be
it
100 100.
Yes.
Okay, yes, but
Because if you only doing 50, there's a lot you're not doing.
100%. I mean 50% of you somewhere else.
100 and 100 mean we're all
Yes,
giving our
100,
best
100.
foot.
Listen, if somebody
forward.
say a relationship is 50-50, that means 50% of them are somewhere else.
yeah.
If a man say he's 50, I'm like, because 50% of you somewhere else. That means you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If you have a whole foot in, that means both feet in, that means you're 100% all the way in. But I do believe that a lot of times, like for me personally, I work a lot. So somebody be like, oh, you mess up that. I'm like, yeah, I work so much that I don't really have the time. I'm like literally, like I come in 4 in the morning, be at work by 8:30. You know, like I grind, I hustle. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, it depends. Somebody could be working 5, 6 days a week, 6 days a week. Realistically, when I come in, you're like, oh, the house is dirty. You been here all day, fam.
I'm in the military. We both work the same exact hours.
Okay,
if
so
I
it's
clean
different.
up after him, he should be able to clean up after me too.
But if who's the neat one?
Me.
So what is there to clean up then?
Okay, but sometimes I can. Okay, if I take off my pants and leave it in the middle of the floor, I expect you sometime pick it up. If you throw your dirty drawers in the middle of the floor, I'm gonna pick it up.
With an attitude though.
Okay, but I still do it. It still gets
What they
done.
do?
Yes, I'm gonna complain a little bit.
But you
But it
can't
still
do things.
gets done.
The rule of healthy relationships is doing things that you just want to do. And if you don't want to do it, don't do it. That's how you build resentment.
Yeah, not take count.
That's how you build hate.
Not count.
That's how you build frustration. That's how you build anger. Because you're doing things you genuinely feel like you shouldn't be doing. That's how you create this monster.
Noah from Fuji.
Now you sitting there like, I washed the drawers last week. I washed the drawers this week. You should have never washed it
I
the
don't wanna
first
be
week.
nagging, like keep telling you pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
You want to be
Come back
dirty.
and
Yo,
tell
your
you.
dirty drawers is there. You want to be dirty.
let
You let
it
your dirty
sit
drawers be
there.
dirty. That's it.
Somebody
You want to be a
tuning in
funky dude,
from
be funky.
Fuji. Let's get him a shout out. New York Prince from Fuji.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I said it. Oh,
Okay.
welcome. Welcome, everyone.
See, somebody said do it out of love. I agree, but in the same breath, she shouldn't have to be whining. I don't want to say whine. I take that back. I apologize. It sounds disrespectful. She shouldn't have to be constantly complaining with you about things we should do as men. And I'm being fair to both sides. But I do believe that a lot of times women don't see the things we do as men to make sure we keep our situations afloat. Yo, you know the number one pressures of a man is, the other day a lady said to me, what is the difference of a man? I said, you live in the moment. I'm worrying about what we're gonna have to do in the future. Like men always have to plan. I'm always expected to have a destination, a timestamp to when we're gonna get there, how we gonna get there. I'm expected to have a lot more, right? A woman on a bus is a woman on a bus. A man on a bus is considerably what? A bum. That's how society is. It's not fair. You know, it's not fair. And you know, I think the healthiest woman is a woman can say something like, yo, let's go to therapy. I think that's the woman that loves me the most that would do something like that. She sees certain aspects of me that's messed up, that she know I have issues. Because I don't think no one, for the most part, we're talking about a regular person who wakes up and be like, yo, I just want to drive Shania crazy today. This is my goal, is to bother Vivian. I'm gonna make Vivian tight today. If a man thinking like that, That man's
That is diabolical.
he on a whole nother spectrum. But I don't think men do that. I think sometimes that man that could be sitting there that's not moving, you see it as a lazy man. I see it as that could be a depressed, unhappy man. You see what I'm trying to say? I don't know, like, because again, society has programmed men to act like they're okay even when they're not okay. So therefore, his efforts could not be in his relationship because his efforts not even in himself. You understand?
Say that again.
His effort. I've seen men that have no efforts in themselves, so therefore there's no effort in the relationship because they're not happy with themselves. They feel disappointed with themselves. And I do believe that, especially if it's a man and he's trying to be masculine, masculine energy is about giving and building and elevating and doing more. So when a man feels he's not in that element, he might not feel like a man at all. I can only imagine how he feel. He laying there like feeling like a bum, like, dang, depressed, bad.
Love Dr. Rob said, but if you are constantly complaining, you're refusing to accept that's who he is.
100%.
Sometimes we don't want to accept it.
But then that's a personal problem. That's a personal problem.
It is, but we just...
Would you expect the baby to eat steak?
No.
Why?
But
Why?
It's a baby.
So therefore, there's certain things in that person that's that person. Every human has great habits. I don't like, one time I had to tell a lady, she said, oh, I can't wait to leave him. I'm going to get a different man. The man she had, he snored. He worked hard, he snored. Everything else was decent. He was a decent guy. She left him. She found a guy that don't snore, but this new guy didn't want to work. So she's like, oh, I can't be with no guy that don't work. She left the guy that snored. She left the guy that didn't want to work. Now she found a guy that worked too much for her. She kept complaining about that. So then she broke up with this guy. Then she got another guy.
She's truly satisfying.
But that's sad because real satisfaction is within self. Happiness is within self. A person role and job, and I don't know whoever told women, oh, a man is supposed to make you happy. They lied. They lied. That is cap, and more cap. A man is not supposed to make you happy. A man is supposed to make you happier. Meaning my job is to be here to be your companion. You're already happy. You wake up every day, you smile with joy. You're grateful to be alive. But you shouldn't be grateful that this man washed the dishes. I'm grateful to be alive. You know what I'm saying? It's a plus that you wash the dishes, which made me happier, but I'm already happy. You know what I'm saying? Makes sense? Love, it makes sense, love? So what do you think now, moving forward, we could do as men and women to make ourselves be better when it comes to dating? I do think men should be more considerate of women's feelings. A lot of them are malicious. I'm being fair. It's when they're uncomfortable, they're very uncomfortable. I'm being honest.
And a lot of men say that women are more emotional than men. So it's like, if you guys know that we're more emotional, then why not consider our emotions?
What made you so emotional?
The man.
No, what makes you so emotional? By nature?
No.
Would you say a lot of your habits that you have, you got from your mother? Being
I'd
honest?
say partial of them, but not majority of them.
I may ask you, okay,
I'm just a logic person. I'm not.
Okay, anger.
No.
Your mother's angry and you get
Oh,
angry?
yeah. She's angry, but
But y'all both get angry, right?
I can be angry, but I'm not angry all the time.
No, I didn't say that. I just said, can your mother get angry when she get angry?
Yeah.
Can you get angry when you get angry?
Yeah.
So we say you have commonalities with that?
No.
I think so. Y'all will both get diabolical. I'm snitching. I don't care.
I mean, I can get that way,
Plead the
but
fifth.
What I'm trying to say is the reason why I'm saying that is because there's certain characteristics that we invertedly inherit just because of who we come from.
yeah.
There's certain habits I have that even coming from my mother. I have certain habits and genetics from my father who didn't even raise me. Ain't that crazy? I have certain habits and characteristics from my father, even though he didn't even raise me. Genetics. So now all we can do as humans, identify certain aspects of us and work on them. But the only way you can fix, like a drug addict, right? They have a problem, right? Lazy people in most cases aren't trying to be lazy. It's something that's in them that just don't move. It's like the ambition, it's not there. But again, you go around people that encourage the behavior. So now you start changing a behavior, right? He could have been lazy at his mother and father's house where he didn't have to do certain things.
Yeah.
So therefore he feels like he still don't have to do certain things. But who did that to him? His parents. And I know grown men who never wash their clothes. Never wash their clothes, right? So it depends. But I get what you're saying, and I'm not trying to give a man an excuse, but I do know we have a lot of issues when it comes to trying to make people something we want them to be that benefits us. I think that's crazy. You heard that, Vivian?
Say it again.
We have an issue as a culture when making people behave the way we want them to behave because it benefits us.
Yeah,
And that's a narcissist.
it is.
Heavy on narcissist.
It is.
Heavy narcissist.
Yeah. Do what I say do, or I shut down. Do what I say do, or I don't like you, or I'm not doing for you.
You believe in the Bible?
I do.
You believe in the Bible? The Bible says love does not impose its own will. What does impose mean?
Opposite.
Force. Love does not force its will. Love is about accepting. True love is about accepting people, and I'm gonna just be what you're not, especially if it bothers me. Because what might bother you, Vivian, don't bother me. I don't care about the dishes in the sink. Right? Somebody else really care. I care. I'm just saying in general. Some people don't care about certain things. It's not that it's not on their list of importance as it is on yours.
Mm-hmm.
So you just say, you know what, I just do it every time. And you say, you know what? Stop using dishes in my house. I'll use less dishes in my house. Now we doing something called problem solving.
The Caribbean mothers just throw everything in the
Throw it in the garbage. Because someone said we would rather try to change a person than to love them for who they are. That's a hope. Rob, you on the roll today, right? You on the whole roll. It's true. And somebody said because most people are trying to fix others so they don't have to fix themselves. Ooh. Think that's about you, Shania?
What?
That was a little diabolical. But I do agree with both statements. So let me ask you, Viv, what can we do moving forward as a culture to start working on ourselves so we can start creating more healthy and less toxic relationships?
First, work on our mental muscle, get our minds right, work on ourselves, consider others before ourselves.
Yes.
And if you're in a relationship and this is the person you can see that you can be with for the rest of your life, you do your part.
Yes.
And try to create a safe place for that person.
Yes.
So that you guys are able to communicate and move to the next problem. I was in a whole situation, a marriage, where each problem was never, a solution was never found for the problem. So
Before marriage, you saw that?
I didn't see it again. I seen certain things, but I didn't see everything because we didn't live together.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is let's say we have 100 problems. It started at 1, but then it built up to 100 problems because problem 1 was never resolved.
Yes.
So everything kept getting pushed off and swept under and supposedly forgetting about.
Yes.
But how could you move on when you're not trying to resolve something at hand?
You know the one thing the other day, I was talking to this young man. You know what he said to me the other day? He said that his mom, when she got married to a guy, she basically made him feel like he wasn't important. And the new guy, she did everything to accommodate him. So you know what I said to him? I said, do you know that mental health can affect everybody? He goes, yeah. I said, do you ever thought for a second that mentally your mother suffered from a level of trauma, of abandonment, that she was trying to preserve an unhealthy relationship because she come from abandonment? He said, damn, I said, you got to be able to look at what they've been through also. We all have issues that we carry on through forever because most of us never fix them. And then I had to look at it like, like my mom's father, I don't even know him. I don't even know my mother's father like that. So I'm looking at it like, if I don't know him like that, usually they try to be better with their grandkids. She didn't even know him like that. So that could be a trauma that she has within herself. And this is what we don't acknowledge as humans and as adults, where just because that's your mother, don't mean she don't have problems from her childhood that she's never gotten over. And that's just realistic. I'll give you another one. Another lady I know, she was teased a lot growing up, teased. And she spends so much money on her kids' clothes because she's scared they're gonna get what? Teased. So she's basically pouring her trauma onto her children, and she don't even see it. The kids don't even care about the clothes. She cares about the clothes more than them.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God, you messed up those sneakers? And they're like, I'm a boy. I play tackle. I don't care about that stuff. But she cares about it so much because she couldn't afford it. So now all she cares about is giving them what she would have had as a child.
Yeah.
And that's humans. We have a lot of issues that we got to work on socially so we can do better for the next generation to come. All right? Anybody else got anything? Anybody got anything? Chris, you guys got it? You got something. I know you do. Told you.
all I'm gonna say is men need women and women need men.
That's a valid point. You got a bomb to that. So now you want to say something before we get out of here today?
No.
Well, you got to say something. You did it. Great episode too.
I just think that if you're in a relationship, just make sure you're giving it all, no matter what.
I want to say this real quick before I'm gonna let y'all say it. But Anisha, I want you to say what you're saying is 100% facts. Read that title. Abandonment issue causes people to overcompensate. Everybody that you see that stay in like unhealthy relationships and there is issues they have in themselves. They gotta see it because I did it before. I definitely stayed in situations that was way overcooked. Way overcooked. Yeah. I dated a woman that wasn't even, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, and this is me being fair. I dated a woman that never really accepted my son. I'm gonna keep it 100. And I was so broken that I tried to make that relationship work, but she never built that bond with my son. Never. And she never really tried. She never even tried to build a bond with my son. And I'm gonna just be honest with you, over time I started noticing it, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. But initially, I never was looking at my son because I kept looking like I'm here for him, but I didn't realize he needed two. And I was still bringing a person around him that didn't accept him. So I'm gonna just be fair. And I did it. And I like, yo, I'm bugging because that wasn't an issue within myself. Because I come from a father that never wasn't there. And I don't want to make that as an excuse, but I definitely had some levels of abandonment issues.
I just want to read this one comment real quick, and both need God. Yes, I agree. In regards of men need women and women need men, someone wrote, and both need God.
100%. We do need God. Okay, you got anything you want to say before we get into today, Viv? Nothing? You got to say something.
I'm not sure what to say. Teamwork make the dream work.
Keep going. And why is that?
Keep God first.
Why do you think teamwork make a dream work?
It do. Two is always better than one. And no matter who you with, there's gonna be an issue. So, gotta make it work. But love is not it all the time. I feel like relationships is more of a partnership. And if you think of it like that, how are we going to build together? How are we going to make this empire together? How are we going to leave generational wealth for our children? I feel like sometimes we focus on all the wrong things. They do matter, but we got to focus on what really matters.
100%. I'm going to say before we get out of here today, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to dating, we have to stop watching the movies and start observing real life. I do believe that men think that the woman is supposed to be perfect. Women think that the man is supposed to be perfect. But in reality, no human outside of Christ has walked earth that is perfect. So no one is ever going to be perfect. So a lot of times when the men say that they are tolerable of women and the women say they are tolerable of men, understand that we're both tolerating each other. There are things that you do to him that he don't like, and there are things that you do to her that she don't like. But true love and true respect for each other and understanding that love is a choice. Every day you have to wake up and choose to love. Yeah.
I just want to read one of the comments because they look like he's reaching out for help.
Okay.
Stanley says, me and my wife trying to work this back out. What pointer can you give me?
DM me, Stanley. But I will say this, though. Definitely go through, I would say marriage counseling. Because at the end of the day, this is a professional thing. And you just need a person that y'all both mutually respect, that you guys can sit with and actually don't feel like y'all being ostracized or judged. There's a young couple that I sat with the other day, and I ain't saying no names, right? I sat with the other day, and I was fair. Because one thing I don't do is take sides. Yeah, she told me certain aspects of him. I pointed them out on him. She had certain aspects of her. I called her out on them. But when I sat back and evaluated the whole story, as I started hearing it more, and I'm being fair, the man was playing more victim than he actually was. And I'm being fair, a lot of her verbs and nouns and the way she enunciated her anger, I can understand why. And I spoke to her and I said, I understand why. But in the same breath, this is what we have to acknowledge. Let's just establish this. If me and a man get into a fight, if me and him decide to move on as friends and still be friends, men get over everything like this. Men don't accept the fact that women, they forgive, but they don't forget. So he has to understand, I kept telling him, like, as a man, a woman may forgive you, but she may not forget it. So in anger, you have to be willing to deal with the fact that you broke the trust, and now you're gonna have to deal with the mouth that comes with the broken trust. And that's just logical. And again, in order for you to stay with her, you have to be able to prove to her until she get the love. It could be a year, it could be 5 years, it could be never again. But you have to be comfortable and know that once you break trust, you gotta deal with the fact that this woman may never trust you again. And that's what you created. You can't throw a rock and then hide your hand. You gotta stand there and say, I threw the rock. And this is what we have to do as a culture. When we do things to each other, we have to accept it. Because a man ain't gonna move on with you, in most cases, if you don't feel like he can get over it. We ain't doing it. I can't forgive cheating. I'm just keep it honest with you. Once I know a woman cheated, because in my mind, she's supposed to be a good girl. So if you're a good girl and a guy was able to get through to you, you ain't that good for me. Because if we get mad at me, you'll definitely go back to him. A woman, in most cases, is very conscious before sex. Men are very aroused, and we lack conscious when we were trying to have sex. We just want to, it's an urge. You know what I'm saying? So in most cases, as you get older, you get better control of it. You know, I've definitely mastered it where I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But let me say this before we get out of here today. When we learn how to love each other, we'll learn how to become better situations. One lady said to me the other day, Vivian, she said, the men weren't like my grandfather was different from the men today, and my grandmother was different from today. And I said, the women of today aren't like our grandparents, and the men of today aren't like our grandfathers. And the one thing you gotta understand, if you sat with your grandmother and grandfather, a lot of y'all say y'all want those relationships, your grandmother and grandfather was very forgiving. If you sit with them stories and hear their stories of them long tenures, I think a relationship is all about how much you're willing to forgive. Till next time, guys, don't let that go over your head.